It is told that currently the world of gaming and the real world have merged. People have various professions. There are many ruins of secret places that are attractive. And of course, it is filled with various fierce monsters ready to destroy the world and the people within it. People can gain experience points, materials, and create new equipment or items by hunting monsters. But even the most ferocious monsters are nothing compared to the presence of that awesome figure. That figure is very mysterious, rare, and powerful like a god. That figure is the dragon. The story shifts to an extraordinary third-grade dragon. At that time, in a classroom, a mobilization meeting for profession change for Level 25 Class 3 was being held. The teacher spoke in front of the students. Listen, students. The profession change ceremony today not only affects whether you can enter college or not, but also relates to your future development. Although profession changes are random, theoretically, you should still believe in yourself. If your spirit is strong enough, then you will be able to awaken the combat profession. At one of the tables in the room, a student with a thin smile was seen. He seemed to have been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. He is Lu Fan, a crosser from the Blue Star since 3 years ago. During his 3 years of living in his current world, he finally understood everything about his world. In the world, there are currently 3 main types of professions, and the top one is the combat profession, such as warrior, mage, archer, and the like. The owners of these professions have the ability to explore hidden places and obtain equipment and rewards that are quite large. Therefore, this profession is the most coveted by everyone. Next is the enhancement profession. Examples are enchanter, alchemist, and the like. They can create special items with powerful effects. However, to buy raw materials for making new items requires a large amount of funds, so only the wealthy can do it. And the last profession is the most basic, which is the life profession. For example, cook, herbalist, miner, and the like. These are the professions of most people. They have to work hard every day and live in difficult conditions. Lu Fan lives with his aunt, Han Ku, who is a bread seller. His aunt is only 8 years older than Lu Fan, and she strongly supports Lu Fan's future even though she lives a difficult life. His aunt sends Lu Fan to school in hopes of a better life for him in the future. Therefore, Lu Fan is determined to succeed in getting a combat profession. While explaining the process of profession change to his students, the teacher suddenly received a phone call from the principal. After hanging up the phone, the teacher told the students that the profession change ceremony would soon begin and invited the students to hurry to the ceremony venue. The students happily scattered out of the classroom, while Lu Fan seemed still sitting silently in his seat. The teacher approached Lu Fan and asked why he didn't leave with the other students. The teacher tried to reassure Lu Fan that he was the best student in the class, so he didn't need to worry about the outcome of the profession change process. Lu Fan seemed to be paying attention to the system panel, which indicated that his super treasure map system had been activated, so he ignored his surroundings. Lu Fan, are you listening? The teacher said with a slightly loud tone because he felt ignored by Lu Fan. Lu Fan was surprised. He didn't realize that his teacher was in front of him. He quickly apologized and hurriedly left the teacher. While running after his friends, Lu Fan said to himself, "Finally, I have my own panel system even though I am a crosser from another star. But what is the use of this system for me? Maybe it's better to think about it later." Lu Fan continued to run down the stairs towards the ceremony room. In the ceremony room, the students were surprised to see the crystal of profession change that they had never seen before. They seemed nervous to follow the ceremony to determine their future. Most of the students longed to have a hidden combat profession because it was a great profession that would surely be respected by people. However, obtaining a hidden combat profession is something difficult and only a few people can have it. The profession change ceremony was about to begin. The principal's voice was heard speaking in front of the teachers and students. He introduced the priest who would host this profession change ceremony. The students looked at the person just introduced by the principal. They admired the priest figure who had an extraordinary aura and hoped to have an aura like the priest. Suddenly, The panel system notified Lu Fan that he had just acquired a new ability, which was Assessment Eyes. Lu Fan didn't understand the usefulness of his new ability. He wondered if this ability was useful for seeing someone's information. He then tried to use his new ability to see information about the priest. And indeed, the panel system provided some information about the priest, including his balance. Lu Fan was surprised to see the priest's balance, which was quite large. Suddenly, the principal shouted loudly for the students to be quiet, and instantly, the situation became silent. The principal ordered the called students to step forward. Meanwhile, Lu Fan still seemed curious about the amount of balance owned by the priest. He thought his aunt, a bread seller, would not be able to accumulate that much money even though she worked all her life. Zhang Tao. Suddenly, the principal called Zhang Tao to step forward. He was the best student in the grade. This certainly made many students curious about what profession he would receive. Zhang Tao had high attributes, so even though profession changes were random, he still had a great chance of having a combat profession. The priest immediately began the ceremony to reveal what profession was suitable for Zhang Tao. The crystal emitted its light and detected Zhang Tao's abilities. And finally, the crystal designated Zhang Tao as a combat profession. This made the students cheer with joy and feel envious of Zhang Tao. Meanwhile, Zhang Tao smiled arrogantly for getting the combat profession that many people desired. Because by getting that profession, it was the same as saying goodbye to a normal and mediocre life. The principal again ordered the students to be quiet, and the profession change ceremony continued with the turn of other students. Not a few students received professions they didn't like. But if the crystal had decided, then they had no choice but to accept it. Lu Fan was still waiting for his turn to be called forward. He thought, apparently, combat professions are still a minority for now, and life professions still dominate as usual. For those who awaken combat professions, it means they have an unlimited future. But for those who can only awaken life professions, they will be destined to live in hardship for their entire lives. They seem to not believe in the determination of the crystal in choosing profession changes. For example, Li Ping, who has been living a hard life since grade 3, even got an enhancement profession that requires a lot of money. He should be more suitable for awakening a life profession. Lu Fan also seemed not confident seeing that fact. He comes from a poor family. What if he could only awaken an enhancement profession? Lu Fan from class 25. Suddenly his name was called by the principal to step forward. He hurriedly stepped forward to participate in the profession change ceremony. After standing in front, he immediately approached the crystal. He tried to remain calm facing whatever profession he would have. The priest then began the ceremony to awaken the profession suitable for Lu Fan. Lu Fan remained calm waiting for the result to be issued by the crystal. A gaze observed from afar the process of the profession change ceremony being attended by Lu Fan. Suddenly, the earth shook when the crystal tried to detect the profession suitable for Lu Fan. Everyone present looked panicked and scared, not knowing what was happening. A beam of white light appeared from above, illuminating the place where the crystal and Lu Fan were. The students looked surprised at the phenomenon. They were even more surprised when they saw the presence of a dragon in the room. This was a rare phenomenon that rarely happened and only occurred when hidden professions were awakened. No one expected that there was someone in their school who could awaken hidden professions, including Mr. Li, the homeroom teacher of class 25. He thought if Lu Fan had a hidden profession, then he could have the power, the dragon blood fighter, and the dragon language mage. Lu Fan could become a powerful figure in this land. The person who successfully awakened the hidden profession happened 10 years ago, and now he is famous in the land of dragons. Would Lu Fan be like that too? The teacher tried to think rationally. The dragon present in the room stared sharply at Lu Fan and spewed red light. Instantly, smoke filled the room. The principal approached Lu Fan and asked, "What is your profession? Are you a dragon blood fighter or a dragon language mage?" With a stammer, Lu Fan replied, "I am a dragon tamer." Lu Fan's admission certainly surprised the principal and the teachers. They didn't believe in the profession that Lu Fan could have because that profession was very rare. Meanwhile, Lu Fan just looked downcast. The principal still couldn't believe why Lu Fan only awakened the most useless profession. After the profession change ceremony was over, Lu Fan returned to his home in the old district of Jianghai City. He opened the information panel about himself, revealing that he had just obtained the Dragon Tamer class. According to the panel, he had the ability to tame dragons, and his current balance was $239. The scene then shifted back to a few hours earlier, showing the shocked reactions of students and teachers when Lu Fan received the Dragon Tamer profession. Although this profession fell within the category of hidden professions, many considered the Dragon Tamer class the weakest among them. One student asked their friend why the Dragon Tamer was considered the weakest class. Wasn't the Dragon Tamer one of the three main hidden professions like the Dragon Blood Warrior and Dragon Language Mage? The friend replied that while the Dragon Tamer was indeed one of the main hidden professions, dragons were no longer found. So what would they tame? The principal tried to comfort Lu Fan, saying that he should stay optimistic because at least he had obtained a hidden profession with unlimited potential. Perhaps one day Lu Fan could tame low-level dragons and make them powerful. A dragon tamer without dragons to tame was unlikely to progress. Moreover, low-level dragons were merely imitation dragons, fierce creatures with no comparison to real dragons. Throughout the 800-year history of dragons, although dragons had appeared in the world, no dragon tamer had ever succeeded in taming one. Even the strongest humans seemed like ants in front of dragons. Trying to tame a dragon was like a foolish dream that could never be realized. Especially now, dragons were rarely found, so the dragon tamer's skills were unlikely to develop. Lu Fan walked the city streets back to his aunt's house. He looked dejected and felt useless. His aunt had worked hard to put him through school, yet all he got was this useless profession. He didn't know what to do to change their fate. He pondered his future throughout the journey home until he arrived at his aunt's doorstep. Trying to maintain a cheerful demeanor in front of his caring aunt, Lu Fan was greeted with a prepared meal. His aunt, named Han Ku, was a cook. She seemed pleased with Lu Fan's return from school and embraced him. She asked what profession Lu Fan had obtained. Lu Fan hesitated, feeling too disheartened to answer his aunt's question. Sensing his change in mood, his aunt tried to console him, saying that he shouldn't be disappointed if he didn't get a combat profession. She assured him of his safety, as without a combat profession, he wouldn't have to leave her to fight every day. Lu Fan tried to confess to his aunt that he had only obtained the Dragon Tamer profession. It seemed his aunt didn't mind what profession Lu Fan had obtained. She believed that obtaining this profession showed Lu Fan's true strength. She hoped he would go to college, and she would continue to support him. However, if he didn't want to pursue further education, he could help run her bakery business. Lu Fan felt comforted and regained his optimism after hearing his aunt's words. After dinner, Lu Fan lay on his bed, still thinking about his and his aunt's future. He desperately wanted to change their lives for the better. But with the profession he had obtained, he wasn't sure how. He needed to find a dragon because without one, his profession was worthless. But where could he find a dragon? Suddenly, a notification appeared from the system, informing Lu Fan that he had obtained a treasure map. Lu Fan wondered why he had received a treasure map on the first day of obtaining his profession. He decided to open the treasure map sent by the system. The system explained that the treasure map came in various levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and god level. 3 low-level treasure maps could be combined into one high-level treasure map through the system. Lu Fan would receive a treasure map every day. The system also explained that if Lu Fan followed the instructions on the treasure map, he would find treasures related to his profession. However, the level and location of the treasure were randomly determined. Lu Fan thought that while being a dragon tamer might be considered the weakest profession because taming dragon species seemed useless, as long as he could use this profession well, there might be a chance for him to surpass the boundary between the weakest and the strongest. In other words, Lu Fan believed that the god-level treasure map he had received was an opportunity for him to turn over a new leaf. If he gave up now, he would forever spend his life at the bottom of society. How could he repay his aunt's kindness? So, Lu Fan decided to go in search of that treasure. He saw that the treasure's location wasn't far from Jianghai City. If he took the last bus tonight, he might arrive before dawn at the location. Morning came, and Aunt Han-ku woke up from her night's sleep. She walked into the living room and found a letter on the dining table. She glanced towards Lu Fan's room, noticing the door was already open and Lu Fan was nowhere to be seen inside. As it turned out, that night Lu Fan decided to go in search of the treasure. He took the last bus heading to the outskirts of Jianghai City. Lu Fan had left a message for his aunt, saying that he would go to the mountain plateau and hoped his aunt wouldn't worry about him. Lu Fan thought this might be his chance to change the fate of a dragon tamer. He made sure that they both would have a better life in the future. Finally, Lu Fan arrived at the edge of the mountain plateau. He saw a tall, burly man accompanied by a woman. Lu Fan felt a bit scared by the intimidating appearance of the man. Suddenly, Lu Fan felt someone touch him from behind, asking if he would join them. It turned out to be an old man with a peculiar appearance accompanying them. Lu Fan brushed off the old man's hand. He tried to figure out who these people were. Were they item hunters? They tried to persuade Lu Fan to join them for safety, as it would be dangerous to go alone in the desert at night. Lu Fan still had negative thoughts about these people. He suspected they were item thieves. Robbing and hurting others would surely be easy for them. And indeed, it seemed they were trying to intercept his path. It turns out they continued to persuade Lu Fan to join them. However, Lu Fan still refused and preferred to walk alone. Even so, they reminded him that this place was very dangerous, especially at night like this. Lu Fan tried to give reasons for refusing their invitation. He said that he was a summoner. If he felt any danger, he could summon elemental creatures to help him. Finally, the unsavory characters stopped trying to persuade Lu Fan to join them and left him alone. But as they were about to leave, the woman whispered to Lu Fan that they would surely meet again. Then she left, bidding farewell to Lu Fan. Lu Fan finally felt a little relieved. He realized that this was the risk he would face if he didn't have power. But he thought it was better than being ambushed by those robbers from behind. Lu Fan thought he should quickly get the treasure. And then, he walked along the dark mountain path, accompanied by the cold night atmosphere. During the journey, he encountered several level 8 power horn horses. Although these creatures weren't actively attacking humans, disturbing them would surely provoke an attack. Therefore, Lu Fan chose to take a detour to avoid the group of creatures. He had to take a longer route for the sake of his safety. In addition to those creatures, he also encountered a level 7 giant horned antelope. He tried to walk carefully to avoid attracting the attention of these large creatures. However, despite his efforts not to attract attention, Lu Fan accidentally stepped on a frog, causing a noise that caught the antelope's attention. The creatures felt disturbed and started running. Lu Fan ran to avoid being hit by the antelope. He tried to jump to the side to avoid them, but ended up falling. His condition was very weak now. Even facing just one antelope, he wouldn't be able to cope. Lu Fan opened the system panel and received information that he had reached the treasure map location. He felt happy because he hadn't encountered significant difficulties so far. This was the place indicated by the treasure map. There was a gap between two large rocks resembling pillars. He entered the gap between the two rocks slowly and found a dragon egg there. Lu Fan thought this treasure would change his fate as a dragon master. The shell of the dragon egg was already cracked, indicating it would hatch soon. However, the system didn't have information about the level of the egg. Suddenly, in the silence of the night, Lu Fan heard footsteps approaching him. Quickly, he took out his novice chopper weapon to defend against the forest monster's attack. And not long after, a forest monster attacked him with its sharp teeth, but Lu Fan managed to fend it off with his weapon. It was a bloodthirsty gray fox with sharp teeth and claws. With quick movements, Lu Fan tried to aim his weapon to strike the monster that was trying to attack him. However, the monster managed to dodge Lu Fan's strike. Lu Fan prepared to face the next attack from the small but sharp-toothed monster. Besides being fierce, the monster had a triple claw strike and bloodthirsty recovery, meaning it could attack and heal its wounded body. Lu Fan felt he was having a bad day because with his current weak condition, he couldn't possibly defeat the small monster. He thought about delaying until the dragon egg hatched, then let the young dragon deal with the monster. As Lu Fan was contemplating, the monster suddenly moved quickly to attack him. Its swift movement was difficult for Lu Fan to dodge, and it resulted in his hand being scratched by the monster's claws. He had to quickly counterattack the monster before it attacked with a triple strike again. Several attacks by Lu Fan were easily avoided by the monster. Nevertheless, Lu Fan continued to try to attack back and managed to strike the monster with his sword. Finally, he succeeded in injuring the monster, which fell motionless. With his success in defeating the monster, he gained 120 experience points. Lu Fan felt happy because he had successfully survived the monster's attack and even managed to defeat it. "You managed to defeat that fox monster," a voice suddenly came from behind the bushes. It turned out the voice came from the people who had been trying to get Lu Fan to join them from the beginning. They praised Lu Fan's ability to defeat the monster. Lu Fan looked annoyed because they had followed him despite him saying he didn't want to join them. The people laughed at Lu Fan's displeasure. The old man, one of the group's leaders, said that Lu Fan had deceived them, because earlier Lu Fan claimed to have summoner skills. But why didn't he use that skill to face the monster just now? Lu Fan didn't respond to the old man's words and said that if they wanted the fox monster's corpse, they could take it and leave. Lu Fan threw the fox monster's corpse at the annoying people. The old man, who seemed to be the leader of the group, just laughed at Lu Fan's anger. He felt interested in Lu Fan's courage. The old man then took the dead fox monster and said they didn't need its corpse because it was of little value. They wanted something with greater value. Apparently, they knew all along that Lu Fan was looking for a dragon egg, so they tried to persuade him to join them so they could get a share. Unexpectedly, the old man ordered his two friends to attack Lu Fan. Lu Fan, who wasn't prepared and didn't have any strength, could easily be beaten by the big man until he was thrown and fell. As he tried to get up, the woman was already threatening him with her weapon. The woman said Lu Fan underestimated their skills and sense of smell, as they were treasure hunters. In a threatened position, Lu Fan couldn't do anything, so the big man hurriedly grabbed the dragon egg that Lu Fan had found easily. With a happy smile, the big man took the dragon egg in his hand to show it to their boss. Lu Fan felt this was a bad sign for him. They had found what they were looking for, so he would definitely be killed. And indeed, the leader of the group of robbers ordered the woman to kill Lu Fan. The woman seemed to enjoy it and would soon kill Lu Fan. Meanwhile, Lu Fan could only surrender because he didn't have the strength to fight them. Suddenly, the dragon egg cracked further and seemed about to hatch at that moment. Not long after, a young dragon was born from the egg and flew upwards. The robbers were surprised to see the newly hatched monster. So was Lu Fan, who watched the monster without blinking. Suddenly, from above, the monster dived and attacked them. The old man shouted for them to move away quickly and drew his weapon to attack the young dragon. But apparently, the old man's attack was dodged by the dragon, which moved to attack the big man with its sharp teeth. The big man collapsed powerless after being attacked by the angry young dragon. They shouted for the dragon not to attack them, but the dragon ignored their shouts, even dragging the old man, the leader of the robber group. Lu Fan, who witnessed the event, was stunned and couldn't believe it. He thought it wasn't surprising that no one could tame a dragon, because even though it had just hatched, the young dragon already had incredible power. The members of the robber group were left with only the woman who was still trying to threaten Lu Fan. The woman looked towards the young dragon. She tried to be wary of the dragon's attack. Meanwhile, the young dragon grinned, showing its sharp teeth and fangs. Lu Fan scoffed at the robbers for not having a keen sense of smell, so they didn't know that the egg they took from him was a dragon egg. This was karma for the robbers, thought Lu Fan. Lu Fan stood up after being freed from the woman's threat and moved forward toward the dragon. Instantly, Lu Fan used his dragon taming technique ability. The burst of power from Lu Fan's skill blew towards the young dragon in front of him. Meanwhile, the woman, who witnessed the event, was confused by Lu Fan's abilities. She asked, "Who was Lu Fan really?" Calmly, Lu Fan replied that he wasn't just a summoner, but he was also a dragon tamer. The system notified that an agreement with the black dragon had been made, and the dragon would become Lu Fan's pet. The woman, who had threatened Lu Fan earlier, was now frightened and begged for mercy from Lu Fan. Lu Fan didn't seem to want to forgive her, because in his opinion, the woman and her friends must have hurt many people. Then, Lu Fan ordered the young dragon to kill the woman. The woman's screams of pain could be heard loudly as she was attacked by the dragon. A few moments later, after eliminating the robbers, Lu Fan and the dragon seemed to rest. He couldn't believe all the events he had just experienced. He didn't expect to be able to tame the strong and ferocious young dragon. He had truly crossed the boundary between the weakest and the strongest. If it was already so powerful just after hatching, he couldn't imagine what the black dragon's power would be like after leveling up. While hugging the young dragon, Lu Fan said that soon, dragon tamers would no longer be called the weakest class. Lu Fan paused for a moment. What name would be suitable for this young black dragon? After a while, he tried to find a suitable name for the young dragon. And finally, Lu Fan smiled happily because he felt he had found a suitable name for the young dragon. But suddenly, the dragon writhed as if trying to break free from Lu Fan's embrace. Lu Fan felt overwhelmed by the dragon's struggling movements until finally, the dragon broke free from his embrace. Slowly, enveloped in a glowing red light, the young dragon transformed into a woman. Lu Fan was surprised and didn't understand what he was seeing. It turns out the newly hatched young dragon can transform into a human. Lu Fan then opened the system panel to check the information about the skills he currently possesses. After successfully taming the dragon, his dragon tamer skill was unlocked. He observed each of the skills he had awakened so far. Dragon Inspiration, making him and his pet dragon stronger and granting a 30% bonus. The dragon's teeth and claws can inflict damaging and lethal effects on opponents. With his current skill and level, Lu Fan is confident he can still defeat combat professions of the same level, even though he's just a dragon tamer. Lu Fan looked at the information about his current pet, the black dragon. The young dragon is only at level 1. However, with the skills it currently possesses and nearly 400 attribute points, the young dragon's strength clearly surpasses even humans at level 20. One useful attribute for Lu Fan is the lineage attribute, which directly doubles all of Lu Fan's attributes. Therefore, it's no wonder he feels his strength has increased after successfully taming the dragon. He thinks with this immense power, he couldn't be challenged even by other hidden professions. He no longer doubts that the dragon master profession should be the strongest. Lu Fan gazed at the woman who had transformed into a dragon, who was eating. He thought that although the dragon could transform into a human, it couldn't abandon its habits as a dragon. Lu Fan is still searching for a suitable name for the young dragon. Lu Fan has an idea. He will call the young dragon Xiaoyi. It seems that the young dragon likes the name given by Lu Fan. He approaches Xiaoyi and asks, "Are you hungry? Let's hunt wild monsters to satisfy your hunger." Lu Fan seems to be thinking about something. He can't return home right now. He then remembers the exam that will determine whether he can enter college or not, which will be held soon. Therefore, many students are currently focused on improving their abilities. Lu Fan has experience as the top student in the southern province and has high qualifications, so he should be able to easily enter college. However, Lu Fan thinks he shouldn't be complacent and must familiarize himself with the skills he now possesses. Lu Fan takes Xiaoyi with him to search for food. He knows the right place to get delicious food for Xiaoyi. On the way, in a dry, rocky valley, Lu Fan and Xiaoyi encounter a group of monsters running towards them. The group of monsters is plains hyenas. They are more dangerous and stronger than the fox monsters they faced yesterday. Suddenly, Xiaoyi jumps up. It seems he is about to attack the monsters. Lu Fan just smiles at Xiaoyi's courage to fight the hyena monsters. He is confident that with their current strength and with Xiaoyi's help, the monsters are no match for them. Xiaoyi flies over the monsters and prepares to attack them with a burst of fire from his mouth. Xiaoyi uses the Molten Flame skill to burn the group of monsters. Lu Fan also fights against the mini monsters, so they both gather many points. They easily level up. Lu Fan is very happy. However, to level up quickly, he must hunt down some elite monsters. Lu Fan shouts to Xiaoyi to forget about these small monsters. The number of hyena monsters is so large that it will only drain their energy. There are bigger and elite monsters they must encounter. The monster is a three-headed blood. It is an elite monster at level 25. Usually, it takes a team to hunt down an elite monster. However, Lu Fan is sure they can handle it together. And they both hurry away from that place to find the elite monster. After arriving at the location of the elite monster, Lu Fan and Xiaoyi prepare to face its attacks. The lion monster has the roar skill, where all three lion heads roar simultaneously. This skill can increase its defense and attack power for a certain period. In addition, the lion monster also has the triple flame skill, which can blow fire and gather it into a large fireball. But this skill requires a recharge process. Lu Fan shouts to Xiaoyi to help him attack the monster while it's recharging. Xiaoyi immediately assists Lu Fan by launching a fire attack at the monster. Meanwhile, Lu Fan jumps up, preparing to attack using his dagger. Xiaoyi dives with his mouth open towards one of the monster's heads. He intends to use a jaw attack that can continuously damage the target. Xiaoyi's attack succeeds in grabbing one of the monster's heads, preventing it from using its abilities. Meanwhile, Lu Fan attacks another head of the monster using his dagger. He employs the Dragon Tooth attack skill, concentrating dragon energy on his weapon to make it stronger. Facing these two powerful attacks, the elite monster is rendered powerless and collapses on the ground, unable to move. Lu Fan and Xiaoyi approach the defeated monster. They both gain a significant increase in points and levels quickly after defeating the elite monster. Lu Fan suddenly receives a notification that another treasure map has been found. He feels curious and takes Xiaoyi to hunt for the next treasure. Meanwhile, deep in the Rocky Mountain plain, four people are gathered among the high rocky cliffs. One woman with a staff in her hand is talking to a man she calls Uncle Gu. The woman asks if they will miss this rare opportunity. Uncle Gu says they can't do anything right now. They need 5 members to open the secret realm, but they only have 3. Uncle Gu suggests that Miss Kair return to Zhanghai City to bring back a few more people. Miss Kair says that although she can run fast, it will still take her days to reach the city and return to the valley. Meanwhile, the woman holding the staff, Miss Chen, says that the location of the secret realm is updated randomly. The rewards offered are higher than normal replicas. However, its existence only lasts for 24 hours, so they will definitely be late. Uncle Gu understands Miss Chen's pessimistic concerns about opening the secret realm tonight. However, he tries to reassure her that if Miss Chen manages to reach the top 10 achievements in school, then the secret realm will open for her. Miss Chen understands Uncle Ge's meaning. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted by someone's presence. They become wary and ask who is approaching them. It turns out to be our hero, Lu Fan. He says he's just passing by so they don't need to worry. Uncle Gu tries to approach Lu Fan, saying that this is not a place for item hunting. However, it seems Miss Chen prevents Uncle Gu from advancing because she will be the one to approach Lu Fan. Miss Chen greets Lu Fan and invites him to join them in opening the secret realm. She says that Lu Fan doesn't need to do anything and will be paid 100,000 dragon coins. Lu Fan doesn't understand what Miss Chen is talking about. He only thinks that for someone like Miss Chen from a wealthy family in Zhanghai City, going to the secret realm must be chasing rare prizes. Miss Chen tries to convince Lu Fan to join them again. She says it's an attractive offer because Lu Fan only needs to help increase the number of people needed to enter the secret realm, and he will receive a large sum of money. Lu Fan says he's not really interested in money, but he's willing to cooperate with them as long as they follow the rules. Lu Fan's answer surprises Miss Chen and the others a bit. Miss Kair asks, "Do you mean you want to share the rewards from the secret realm by showing your strength?" Exactly. Lu Fan answers Kaier's question with a smile. Miss Qin looks silent. She thinks their average level is around 20, while Lu Fan's level is much lower than theirs. Why is Lu Fan so confident? Then Miss Qin says to Lu Fan, because you invited us to work together, we will work together as a team. And as a sign of our sincerity, you will be paid 100,000 dragon coins. Lu Fan agrees to Miss Qin's words. And finally, they set off for the secret realm. Meanwhile, Lu Fan intentionally doesn't want to reveal Xiao Ye's identity because it could endanger both of them. They all successfully enter the secret realm of fortune. They feel that the atmosphere in the realm is very quiet, with no sounds except for their own as they enter the realm. Uncle Gu suddenly asks Lu Fan if he brought equipment. Lu Fan takes out his sword and shows it to Uncle Gu, proving that he brought a weapon. It turns out the knife he brought from home has now turned into a quality sword after he defeated the three-headed lion monster. Uncle Gu sees that Lu Fan's weapon is not ordinary. However, Uncle Gu concludes that Lu Fan is not an item hunter. Uncle Gu asks, "Are you a newly transferred student?" But Kaier, who looks arrogant, doesn't like Uncle Gu paying too much attention to Lu Fan. According to her, Lu Fan is just someone who happens to be in the team. Suddenly, they are surprised by the appearance of zombies emerging from the ground. They are level 15 corrupted zombies. And apparently, the zombies begin to emerge from the ground in large numbers. Xiao Jia, who is part of the group with a combat profession, immediately moves to repel the zombies that start to attack them. Uncle Ge and Miss Kaier also start preparing to fight the increasing number of zombies. They eventually get involved in a battle against the ferocious zombies. Lu Fan remains silent as he watches the battle of people with combat professions against the zombies. He assesses that these people probably have an average level above 20 and many skill attributes. Miss Qin raises her staff upwards to help attack the zombies. She uses the Holy Light Star Rain skill. This skill gathers energy and sends a rain of starlight that can cause damage and healing. Miss Qin turns out to have a hidden combat profession as a white light wizard. Although her attack is not as powerful as a wizard's and her healing power is not as great as a priest's, it is currently effective enough to eradicate the zombies. Most of the zombies are defeated by them. But suddenly, cracks are heard from the ground, releasing elite zombies with abilities and strengths greater than ordinary zombies. They are Bloodwalker zombies. Seeing the elite zombies starting to attack ferociously, Uncle Gu orders Miss Kaier to protect Miss Qin and Lu Fan from the zombies' onslaught. Meanwhile, he orders Xiao Jia to help him fight the zombies on the front lines. Uncle Gu and Xiao Jia start attacking and finishing off the Bloodwalkers one by one with their swords. Xiao Jia tries to stab one of the Bloodwalkers with his sword, and his sword can penetrate the zombie's body. However, it seems he struggles to pull his sword from the zombie's body. The zombie's body seems to be pulling Xiao Jia's sword, making it difficult to release. It turns out these elite zombies have poison that can be used to attack and heal themselves quickly. No wonder Xiao Jia struggles to pull his sword from the zombie's body because the zombie's flesh and skin that were pierced quickly regrow and even suck in Xiao Jia's sword in hand. Miss Qin, seeing Xiao Jia struggling to pull his sword, could actually help by using luminous magic. But as a white wizard, Miss Qin couldn't possibly help him. Xiao Jia shouts for help from Uncle Ge. Uncle Ge tells Xiao Jia to let go of his weapon. Then Uncle Gu asks Miss Kaier to help him fight the zombies in front. But Lu Fan says he intends to help them fight the zombies. And he begins to move forward toward the group of elite zombies that are difficult to defeat. One of the large-bodied zombies swiftly moved to attack Lu Fan. Uncle Gu, seeing this, ordered Lu Fan to retreat immediately. Lu Fan looked sharply at the zombie and began swinging his sword at its body. The sound of the zombie's screams echoed as it was slashed by Lu Fan's sword. Everyone who witnessed the scene was shocked and surprised that Lu Fan had such fighting abilities. Miss Qin and Uncle Gu still couldn't believe what they saw. They began to wonder, who is this kid really? Meanwhile, Lu Fan said they should not retreat and must continue to fight. Uncle Gu approached Lu Fan and asked, "What is your actual level?" It's impossible for a student like you to have such strength. Lu Fan said his current level is 14, and he came here to practice for the final exam. Miss Chen, hearing Lu Fan's answer, was surprised. She didn't expect Lu Fan to be in the same grade as her. However, Miss Chen did not expect Lu Fan, at level 14, to have a higher attack power than Uncle Gu, who was at level 28. Suddenly, one of the zombies attacked Miss Chen from the side. Miss Kair, who noticed this, shouted a warning to Miss Chen and tried to fend off the zombie's attack. However, Lu Fan quickly moved to attack the zombie and successfully sent it flying. Lu Fan, having destroyed the elite zombie, said he would fill the gap in the front lines to fight the zombies. Miss Chen and her friends couldn't say anything. Miss Chen wondered, could this be the person who has recently been the talk of Zhanghai City? Finally, Miss Chen asked Lu Fan for help to be on the front lines with Uncle Gu. Meanwhile, she would protect Xiao Jia, who was injured, while Miss Kair protected the rear. Miss Chen suspected that the Mystic Realm Guardian should be in the village. Lu Fan agreed to Miss Chen's order and said they could call him Lu Fan, and they walked into the small village ahead. While helping Xiao Jia walk, Miss Chen looked at Lu Fan walking in front of her. She wondered in her heart, is this Lu Fan, the student who got the hidden class dragon tamer? But Miss Chen still wasn't sure if Lu Fan was the dragon tamer. Lu Fan and Uncle Gu defeated the zombies blocking their path to the village, until they reached the center of the Mystic Village. At this point, Miss Chen's profession still couldn't be used to heal the zombie poison spreading in Xiao Jia's body. Her ability would open when she could defeat the guardian of the Mystic Realm. Lu Fan warned them to move faster because if not, Xiao Jia would turn into a zombie because of the poison. Miss Kair did not see any Mystic Realm Guardians in this village. She felt something was wrong. There were only a few zombies wandering around and approaching them. Xiao Jia warned Uncle Gu to be wary of the zombies attacking from behind. And after that, he fell because he couldn't withstand the infection of the zombie poison gnawing at his body. Uncle Gu and Miss Chen, who were about to help Xiao Jia, were surprised by the roar of zombies suddenly appearing. It turns out to be the guardian zombie of the Mystic Realm with great power and deadly poison. They looked a little frightened by the appearance and terrifying roar of the Mystic Realm Guardian. Meanwhile, Lu Fan saw the corpse poison infecting Xiao Jia worsening and could raise iron-skinned zombies. If that happened, the Mystic Realm Guardian could absorb Xiao Jia. Therefore, Lu Fan shouted for them to defeat the Guardian as soon as possible. Uncle Gu immediately moved forward to attack the Guardian zombie with his sword. But his sword's attack couldn't even scratch the zombie's body. Seeing this, Lu Fan quickly moved to help Uncle Gu attack the iron-skinned zombie. Lu Fan tried to attack the zombie's head, causing it to be slightly affected by Lu Fan's attack. Lu Fan thought they had to attack it even faster, and they all attacked the Mystic Realm Guardian from various angles. Lu Fan told Miss Chen to use holy mantras to attack. Meanwhile, he would use his strength to destroy the zombie's head. The combination of attacks from Miss Chen and Lu Fan resulted in a massive explosion. The body of the village guardian zombie slowly began to crumble. Uncle Gu said that it seemed this iron-skinned zombie depended on fusion absorption to enlarge itself. Meanwhile, Lu Fan argued that the main body of the zombie must be inside it. Uncle Gu was surprised to hear Lu Fan's opinion. He had met and seen many experts before and suspected that Lu Fan might be a hidden expert himself. The protective body of the guardian zombie collapsed, revealing the main body of the zombie. Lu Fan saw this as a perfect opportunity and immediately attacked the main body of the zombie to defeat it quickly. With a powerful blow, Lu Fan struck the head of the main zombie. The sound of a loud collision echoed along with the screams of the zombie destroyed by Lu Fan. Miss Chen and the others were surprised to see the Guardian defeated by Lu Fan. Miss Chen didn't expect that the boss of the zombies in this secret village could be easily defeated by a young man like Lu Fan. She began to wonder, who is Lu Fan, really? After the defeat of the village Guardian, they obtained the treasure of the iron-skinned zombie. Miss Chen said that according to the initial agreement, she would distribute the treasure they obtained according to the rules. She also apologized for underestimating them earlier. Uncle Gu even admitted Lu Fan's greatness, suggesting that Lu Fan could have completed the secret realm alone. Lu Fan just smiled at Uncle Ji's praise. He left the distribution to them. Miss Chen immediately opened the treasure chest they had just obtained. Everyone waited to see what treasure they would get. However, after it was opened, they were shocked and couldn't believe it because the treasure inside the chest was only herbs, antidotes, and bracelets. Lu Fan seemed not to believe that the level 20 quality of the gift given was like this. Miss Chen then began to distribute the treasure according to the rules. Lu Fan received strength potions and antidotes. Xiao Jia drank the antidote potion to treat the zombie poison infection spreading in his body. After distributing the treasure they obtained, Miss Chen felt something was amiss. She didn't find a portal, even though they had defeated the boss of the zombies. Miss Chen suggested they check the surroundings, but Lu Fan shouted that they should not move yet. He suspected that the real boss of the zombies had not appeared yet. Uncle Gu asked if Lu Fan found something. Miss Chen, as a witch, said she could sense the presence of dark energy around them. Miss Chen showed that the dark energy was around the lake near them. They believed Miss Chen's words, but they thought this location wasn't that extensive. But they hadn't seen the appearance of the boss of the zombies. Could they have missed something? Suddenly, the real boss of the zombies emerged from the lake. Lu Fan, seeing the appearance of the zombie boss, shouted to the others that the boss of the zombies had appeared. Everyone was surprised by the presence of the boss zombie with a very terrifying form. The zombie boss began to attack with its many hands. Uncle Gu tried to fight off the zombie's attack with its sharp claws, but one of the zombie's hands managed to strike him, causing Uncle Gu to fall to the ground. Meanwhile, Miss Chen, seeing Uncle Gu fall, felt worried but couldn't do anything because the zombie boss seemed to be about to attack her. The zombie's large hand with its sharp claws was about to pounce on Miss Chen. However, Miss Chen seemed helpless against the attack from the zombie boss. Fortunately, Lu Fan, seeing Miss Chen about to be attacked by the zombie leader, quickly moved to save her. His quick action successfully prevented Miss Chen from being attacked by the large hand of the zombie boss. Lu Fan quickly grabbed Miss Chen's body and moved aside. But Lu Fan's balance was shaken, causing them to fall and tumble. They approached Miss Chen, who seemed to have risen. Miss Chen didn't seem to have suffered severe injuries. But their current problem was not yet resolved because the zombie monster was still trying to attack them. Lu Fan tried to think about what he should do to end the zombie monster. Meanwhile, the body of the zombie monster was very large and could crush them in one blow. As the monster stood up, a human figure shackled in chains was visible in the middle of the zombie monster's body. Lu Fan and his friends speculated that the figure was the true leader of the zombie monsters. Uncle Go, seeing Xiao Jia's weakened condition, instructed him to stay in the back and take cover. However, Xiao Jia seemed to feel that he was still capable of fighting the zombie monster. Uncle Go, seeing that Xiao Jia still wanted to fight, felt annoyed because he believed Xiao Jia had just recovered and was still weak to fight. Suddenly, Lu Fan darted quickly towards the monster zombie. He said he would destroy the leader of these zombies, while Uncle Gu and Xiao Jia should stay behind for protection. Lu Fan thought he should attack the main body of the monster zombie to destroy it. The main body of the monster zombie roared, releasing a skill called Corpse Chi Envelopment that weakened the attributes of other creatures around it, including people. Uncle Gu and his friends felt its effects. Meanwhile, Lu Fan had just managed to dodge the attack from the monster's huge hand. He landed on the chain that bound the main body of the monster zombie. Then Lu Fan quickly directed his sword to stab the main body of the monster zombie. However, it seemed that the zombie saw his attack and tried to block it. Miss Chen, seeing Lu Fan's fight, shouted for Lu Fan to be careful with the chains on the monster zombie. It turned out that the main body of the monster zombie used the chain bound to its hands to block Lu Fan's attack, causing Lu Fan to be thrown back by the zombie's chain attack. The zombie seemed angrier. It swung the large chain to attack the people around it. While those people seemed overwhelmed by the zombie's chain attacks, Lu Fan still tried to find an opportunity to destroy the main body of the monster zombie while avoiding the zombie's chain attacks. Several times he managed to injure the zombie's hands with his sword, but it seemed to have no effect. He looked towards his friends who were starting to weaken and struggle against the monster zombie. He thought that if this continued, they would all be defeated by the monster zombie. Lu Fan then attacked the monster zombie again with determination. He unleashed the Dragon Fang strike ability to deliver a strong attack using his active weapon. Meanwhile, the zombie seemed to use the chain lash skill, which could cause severe damage to its target. To increase his attack power, Lu Fan used the Dragon Blood Armor transformation skill, which could transform part of his body into a dragon, increasing his strength. However, it seemed that Lu Fan's attack power was still not enough to defeat the very powerful monster zombie. Even the Dragon Claw skill, which could turn his hands into dragon claws, could not match the high-level skills of the monster zombie. His attack only managed to sever the zombie's chain, preventing it from being used to attack. Uncle Ge and Miss Chen said that Lu Fan would not be able to fight this monster king. If he continued to fight, it would only put them in danger. That's why they suggested Lu Fan retreat. But it seemed that Lu Fan still intended to fight the monster zombie. He told Uncle Ge to take his friends to the village because there were no more zombies there. Miss Chen asked, "What about Lu Fan?" Lu Fan said he would try to hold the monster zombie to protect them. Miss Kair then urged Miss Chen to leave the place quickly. And finally, Lu Fan was left alone to fight the monster zombie king. Lu Fan called upon Xiaoyi, the black dragon, to help him fight the monster zombie. Xiaoyi emerged and immediately began attacking the monster zombie with its sharp-toothed mouth. Lu Fan's friends who had not gone far from the place saw the appearance of the dragon helping Lu Fan. They were surprised to see that Lu Fan could summon a dragon to help him. Lu Fan saw Xiaoyi attacking the monster zombie with the Giant Jaws Assault skill, a very fast attack that could tear enemies apart with its fangs, causing severe damage to the target. The monster zombie appeared to be in pain from Xiaoyi's attack. Meanwhile, Xiaoyi continued to try to attack the monster from various angles. The screams of pain from the main body of the monster zombie were heard loudly, like a terrifying roar. Miss Chen and her friends were surprised to see the destruction of the monster zombie, which was being cut to pieces by Xiaoyi, the young black dragon. Miss Chen suspected that Lu Fan was the one being talked about in the city of Zhanghai. He was a dragon tamer. The story shifts to 300 years earlier. It tells of a woman who was born and raised under the protection of the church, thus safe from harm and danger. Until one day, a plague struck and destroyed everything. The lake was filled with corpses of the deceased who had not been buried. The woman hoped she could save everyone, so she eventually became a dark witch. She couldn't heal those who were dying, but she could summon the spirits of the deceased to bid farewell. However, the church that had previously protected the woman turned against her. She was falsely accused as the cause of the plague that ravaged the village. The church ordered the kingdom's soldiers to capture her and bind her hands with chains. The church deemed her as an evil witch who had brought the terrible plague upon the village. Yet, the woman only wanted to help the deceased bid farewell to their families. The woman pleaded for forgiveness multiple times, saying she wasn't the cause of the plague and she only wanted to help the villagers. However, the church still punished her and threw her into the lake near the village. Slowly, the woman drowned, harboring vengeance. And the woman was the main body of the monster zombie that was eventually destroyed by the black dragon, Xiaoyi. Lu Fan approached Xiaoyi, who had just successfully destroyed the leader of the monster zombies. While his friends, who watched from afar, still couldn't believe how Lu Fan could summon a dragon to help him. And they urged Lu Fan to leave this secret realm. But Lu Fan said, if the portal hadn't appeared yet, it meant the leader of the monster zombies wasn't dead. He argued they couldn't leave this place yet. Suddenly, the water on the surface of the lake churned, and not long after, the main body of the destroyed monster zombie emerged. Those who witnessed it were shocked. They hadn't expected the main body of the monster zombie to still be alive. It seemed the woman who became the main body of the monster zombie was angry with those who had destroyed the monster zombie's body. The zombie boss transitioned to the next phase, vowing to destroy those people with its power. The monster zombie used the effect of immunity to restrain, making it immune to physical attacks. On the other hand, Xiaoyi was using the Black Dragon Bloodline skill, reducing damage by 50%, becoming immune to all debuff effects, and increasing healing ability by 500%. Miss Kair suddenly moved to attack the monster zombie. Likewise, Uncle Gu tried to help Miss Kair, but their physical attacks had no effect on the monster. Miss Kair, seeing the reality, felt that their fate ended here and apologized to Miss Chen for feeling like a failure. But Miss Chen felt she was the most at fault for leading her friends to a place like this. Lu Fan, seeing his friends starting to despair, said, "So you're going to give up just like that?" Hearing Lu Fan's words, Miss Chen said her weak magic abilities couldn't possibly fight the monster zombie, especially since it was immune to physical attacks. "Lu Fan, do you have any other way to defeat the monster zombie king?" Uncle Gu asked Lu Fan. The monster zombie king then attacked Lu Fan and Xiaoyi with its large, sharp-clawed hands. But the attack was easily dodged. Lu Fan thought he couldn't defeat the monster zombie. But Xiaoyi had powerful and reliable skills to fight the monster zombie. However, Lu Fan's friends thought Xiaoyi would struggle to fight the monster zombie due to the significant level difference between the two creatures. But Lu Fan was confident in Xiaoyi's abilities. Because a dragon's attributes were different from humans, despite having a low level. In addition, Xiaoyi had several good skills to use in battle. And finally, Lu Fan ordered the young black dragon to start attacking the monster zombie boss with the lava blaze skill, which could continuously spew fire. And the fire attacks unleashed by the dragon successfully destroyed the monster zombie's body. People felt the heat from the dragon's fire attacks. But they were relieved because the leader of the zombies had truly been destroyed. Meanwhile, the screams from the burning monster were heard echoing in the area, and the blaze caused a large explosion accompanied by a whirlwind of hot air in the area where the monster zombie burned. The explosion of the burning zombie king's body produced a surge of anger, resulting in the resurrection of the dead in the secret realm. Xiaoyi and Lu Fan were delighted to have defeated the zombie king and quickly leveled up. Uncle Gu felt it was all over, and he saw a portal open for them to return. But unbeknownst to them, dozens of corpses had risen due to the explosion and were trying to attack them. Xiaoyi, seeing the presence of the threatening corpses, immediately repelled them using a large burst of fire. In an instant, the corpses were engulfed in flames from the dragon's breath. Uncle Gu and Miss Chen were still shocked by the power possessed by the young dragon, which easily defeated the monster zombie boss. Lu Fan just smiled and said that his friend's dragon was a black dragon named Xiaoyi, who had tremendous power. Now they didn't need to worry anymore because all threats in that place had been destroyed, and now they could return after sharing the received rewards. The rewards for successfully destroying the monster zombie were soon distributed. Lu Fan argued that he had the right to be the first to choose the desired reward. The others didn't mind Lu Fan's opinion. Lu Fan checked the contents of the gift box. There were several gift items, and Lu Fan apparently wanted a class change scroll item useful for someone with a low-level hidden class to switch to a superior hidden class. However, Miss Chen said that according to the rules, this gift should belong to Lu Fan alone. Therefore, Lu Fan didn't need to share this gift with others. But Lu Fan seemed to want to share with others, especially since the attribute item in the gift was not suitable for his class. He only wanted the class change scroll item. Miss Chen checked the contents of the gift box. She found a ring with a red stone. She asked Lu Fan to accept the ring as a gift, and Lu Fan agreed to take it. After finishing the gift distribution, Uncle Gu suggested they return as soon as possible. Miss Chen agreed with Uncle Ji's suggestion, but she was still thinking about Lu Fan. What other powers did Lu Fan hide? The story shifts a few hours after they returned home, and that evening Lu Fan was at home with his aunt, recounting everything they had just experienced. His aunt hugged Lu Fan emotionally upon hearing his story of surviving danger. Lu Fan felt awkward being hugged by his aunt, who was only a few years older than him. But his aunt seemed unwilling to let go. She was afraid something would happen to Lu Fan and he wouldn't come back home. Meanwhile, Lu Fan apologized to his aunt for leaving without saying anything. Lu Fan promised not to worry his aunt again and told her to stop crying. His aunt touched Xiao Ye's head. She didn't expect a sweet girl like Xiao Yi to be the embodiment of a dragon. His aunt guessed that the dragon must be hungry and offered her food. Meanwhile, Lu Fan handed over an item he obtained after defeating a zombie monster. He hoped this item would allow his aunt to change to a hidden class so she wouldn't have to run the shop anymore. But his aunt refused Lu Fan's gift, considering it too valuable. Instead, she suggested selling the item and using the money to buy attributes for Lu Fan to improve his exam performance. Lu Fan said he didn't lack money or attributes at the moment, showing his bank account with a considerable balance. His aunt was surprised to see the significant amount of money in Lu Fan's bank account. Lu Fan explained that he had accumulated that much money from selling items he found on his journey the night before. In addition, he also received a gift from Miss Chen. Lu Fan insisted that his aunt accept his gift. Finally, Aunt Han accepted Lu Fan's gift, and she immediately opened the scroll. Suddenly, a bright light emanated from the paper and changed his aunt's class. Lu Fan asked his aunt if the scroll worked, and she confirmed that it did, and now she had the hidden class of a superior enchantment chef. Lu Fan didn't understand what was special about his aunt's new class. His aunt explained that with this new class, she could now create food with various buffs. Lu Fan was confident that with her cooking skills, the buffs would be high. Aunt Han just smiled, pleased with Lu Fan's praise. But suddenly, she noticed that Xiao Yi had disappeared. It turned out the black dragon was full after eating Aunt Lu Fan's food. The story shifts back to the Chen family villa's study room. There, Miss Chen was sitting and talking to her father about the events in the secret realm. Her father asked if a man named Lu Fan, the dragon tamer, summoned the dragon and saved them from danger. Miss Chen confirmed her father's question. Lu Fan had tremendous power. Although they both had hidden classes, Lu Fan's strength far surpassed hers. Her father asked if she had told anyone else about the dragon. Miss Chen explained that she had promised Lu Fan not to tell anyone about the dragon except the Chen family. Her father was relieved by Miss Chen's explanation and smiled thinly. Miss Chen suspected her father had some nefarious plans for Lu Fan. She insisted that her father wouldn't do anything to harm Lu Fan's dragon, right? Her father laughed heartily. He said he was not the person Miss Chen accused him of being. Miss Chen's father asked what she had done to thank Lu Fan. Miss Chen replied that she had invited Lu Fan to join their team and gave him money. Her father understood her explanation and instructed Miss Chen to give the purple card to Lu Fan as a token of gratitude from him. Miss Chen followed her father's wishes, but she didn't understand why her father didn't want to meet Lu Fan. Wasn't her father curious about Lu Fan? Miss Chen's father actually wanted to meet Lu Fan, but for now, he had a lot of work to do. The next day, a princess from the Taizi kingdom came to study in Jianghai City. While it was common for a princess to visit such places, her arrival just before the final exam raised questions about her true intentions. The princess happened to stop by Lu Fan's aunt's bakery. Hurriedly, Lu Fan's aunt went to meet her customer and asked what she needed. The haughty princess ignored Lu Fan's aunt's greeting. Instead, she asked her guard if this was indeed the place. The guard confirmed it. Lu Fan's aunt asked who they were and what they needed. The arrogant princess said she was looking for Lu Fan and wanted to meet him. Meanwhile, Lu Fan, upon hearing his name mentioned, came out of his room and descended to meet the haughty princess and her guard. Lu Fan asked his aunt if everything was okay. His aunt replied that she was fine, but the princess interrupted their conversation with his aunt. The princess said she wanted to meet Lu Fan privately. Lu Fan didn't understand why an unknown princess was looking for him. The guard then explained that she was Princess Jinju from the Taizi kingdom, and he himself was her guard, Cui Hongtai. According to the guard, the princess came to offer Lu Fan an interesting proposal. Lu Fan and his aunt didn't understand the guard's meaning. The guard explained again that if Lu Fan accepted their invitation and conditions, he would receive a dragon egg as a reward. The princess smiled arrogantly. She said the condition was quite simple. Lu Fan just needed to become the princess's slave and obey all her wishes, then he would get the dragon egg. And the story ends here for now. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a comment and hit the like button. The admin will continue the story if many people like it. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button first to always get notified about the latest videos on this channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.